A garden is such a special place. There's no way I can be sad when I'm out here planting and getting my hands dirty.
Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a good, safe week, and I had a very good week. I'm taking longer walks with Desi, so I have gotten to meet so many new neighbors, and I took you with me, and I want to show you some footage of some of these lovely houses and their gardens, and well, they're just the loveliest people. And so are you. You are so terrific. Today I want to talk about the latest trends in decor for 2023 and 2024. And I want to see what you think about some of these things that I want to showcase today. But I just got done decorating my new house and I learned so much. And when I was reading about some of these trends, things we're supposed to just fall in love with and alter our home so we can be trendy, I realized why so many of us love to thrift. And one of the trends this year is uniqueness. And how can we be unique if we don't search out some of these beautiful finds for our home? The first trend that I want to talk about is the trend of not following any trends. Being unique. Making your surroundings something that makes you happy. And what better way to do that than go thrifting? Because if someone walks into your home and you're totally on trend, but they say, oh yes, you bought that at IKEA. You bought that at Home Goods. Oh, I saw that at Target. Well, yeah, you're stylish, perhaps. You're trending. Your home just looks fabulous, right? But it's not unique. It's not special. It doesn't really reflect you. It reflects Target, and you don't want that. So it's sort of like giving ourselves permission to have a home that truly reflects who we are. I want to be unique and I want to express myself when I'm decorating. But to be honest, I do care what people think to a point. I want my house to reflect who I am, and I love to have things around me that make me happy. But I also want to be considerate of the people who come to visit me. So I try to have some type of balance between the things that are trending and stylish and incorporating them into the things that I love. And let me show you a few examples of those things.
I love the trend of being unique. And for those that don't like the way that I decorate, I understand that and I accept that, of course. We're all different. But one thing that you can truly say about my home, it is unique. There aren't a lot of things from Target or Home Goods. I've tried to search out things for many, many decades from thrift stores that speak to me, things that I love, artists that I love, that I know the history of their lives. I've tried to surround myself with things that impress me, not other people. And I think maybe that's the key, at least for me, to a happy life and a happy home. There's one thing about buying a house in the winter, you have no idea what the yard is going to look like. And I took a chance, and then in the spring, I was, scared. It was all dandelions and forget-me-nots, and there were no gardens. But little by little, I'm starting to have a real backyard. It's gonna take a couple years, maybe 3 or 4 years, but I don't think my yard is gonna be recognizable.
Think of the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch. Yeah, the browns and the blues. Those are the trending colors. I know. The one good thing about that is we don't have to look at farmhouse white one more second. So that's pretty good. But I am never going to get on board with the kind of golds and browns that were popular in the 70s. And I know that people love them, but that's just not for me. What I can get on board with is the new trend of blue. Any shade of blue for your wall, for your kitchen cabinets, for any type of thrifted furniture. You paint it blue and everybody loves it. Okay, I can get on board with blue.
I have been pleasantly surprised to see how much blue is now being used in kitchens with beautiful steel appliances. So, very beautiful blue, very lovely. There is something so soothing about robin's egg blue, and I was so lucky this week to find this mirror. The color of it matches my cabinets perfectly, so it was really fun to hang on my kitchen wall with some Italian vegetables. For my living room, I have incorporated the trending color blue, and I've even tried to find some wicker with blue in it. But the brown, I have a little bit of brown in my rug. I have the brown of the wood trim on my fireplace, and I have 2 pieces of mid-century modern. With my living room being a small space, I went with a small mid-century modern brown TV stand. And then I have a little end table that is mid-century modern.
And the other thing too is vintage furniture. Now everybody's crazy about vintage furniture. You can't go get vintage furniture at IKEA, so you have to go thrift. And so many people say, well, I love to decorate. Why do I have to go thrifting? Because that's where you find unique items. That's where you find vintage furniture that is made so well. You just can't believe it. There is nothing that you can order from Wayfair or Target that can hold a candle to a piece of vintage furniture. The way that it's made, the dovetailed joints, the quality of wood. I have always loved folk art, and I am just thrilled that in 2024 they say one of the biggest trends will be folk art. Well, what is folk art, you might say? Well, it's really anything that is made out of a certain material that portrays something in a very whimsical, magical, silly way. Something, in other words, that makes you smile. And when I moved, now these are my little folk art cats in a boat. When I moved, I actually had some of you sweet ladies and a couple gents ask me, how about the cats in the boat? Did they make it? And then when I photographed it, because I had to prove that they made it. You were like, oh, the cats made it. And I mean, what does that say to you? It says how important folk art is to us. It makes us smile. It makes us happy. And maybe it's an acquired taste. Maybe you will never put folk art in your home. But it is trending. And you might want to pick out something that, well, maybe that you don't love so much, but maybe your mom loved chickens, or maybe your father loved trucks. One of the things I'm most excited about being up here in the new city is there's so much folk art when I go to the thrift stores. Now, not all of it is good, but I scored this great cat yesterday, and I think he's rather handsome. And I have a beautiful folk art hand-painted bird from Mexico that I picked up for a couple dollars. Those things, they're just so cute and they make me happy. And what really makes me happy is that folk art is trending. So how cool is that? Will you let me know if you like folk art or if you collect it? I would just love to know that. It does make me smile, and anything that makes me smile, well, that's a keeper for me.
There's something so beautiful about antique furniture. This is a piece of Eastlake furniture that I thrifted about 30 years ago. I've always loved it. I even love the way it smells of old wood. And I love folk art. Folk art on top of antique furniture, I just think sets the mood, and I think it's just wonderful. It's a lovely pencil reed vase that I adore. You don't even have to put flowers in it. It's just beautiful on its own, like a beautiful woman who doesn't even need lipstick. It's just beautiful.
It's raining really hard right now on my tin roof, and the sound of it is just so pretty. I love that. How long have they been telling us to have a gallery wall in our home? And I'll bet you 90% of us have always had a gallery wall, but now they have rules for us, right? So many people say to me, I try to have a gallery wall, but it looks horrible. I just keep failing. What can I do? And there's three things that I always say. Start high enough on the wall. So look at your wall, hang your art as high as you can, and fill up the whole wall. You want the art that you choose for your gallery wall to somehow connect with each other. So you don't want to have those beautiful paintings of your grandchildren next to some black and white photography of Prague. I mean, you just have to, choose the art that you love and then just pick one. And then thirdly, make sure that the art that you're hanging on your wall isn't too far apart, no more than 6 inches. 6 inches that's about it, or else the art is it's spread too far apart, and spatially it's unpleasant and it makes us nervous. It's like people who have a gallery wall of mirrors. It's very rare that works. Number one, psychologists will tell you a gallery wall of mirrors makes people nervous. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's all those images that we see of ourselves, maybe we just don't like that in somebody else's home.
This old sideboard is probably the oldest piece of furniture I own. It's about 150 years old, and I just love it. If it wasn't in my dining room, well, it just wouldn't feel like home to me. And there's my gallery wall, all of my favorite black and white photography. I'm so excited to get this. These are 2 peppermint smoothies. These are Roses of Sharon. And I ordered these off of xxoo. I didn't know what to expect, but they really look fabulous. This is how the peppermint smoothie ships. It's in a nice sturdy box, and it's wrapped up, and it is ready to go into the ground. I think the most important thing when you get a plant through the mail is to get it in the ground as soon as possible and just water it and then water it some more.
One of the biggest trends in 2024 from everything that I've read is how we are treating our solarium or our sunroom. Instead of it just being plants and a lounge and having lunch out there, we are turning that room into a listening room. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you come from. Neither side really wants to watch the news right now. We're a society here in this country that we want to relax. We don't want things to be toxic. We want to enjoy things with our friends. We don't want the TV on. We don't want the computer on. So what we are starting to see in homes is people creating this amazing listening room, where they have different types of radios, different types of listening devices, where, that sounded so weird, listening devices, not bugs, but here's my thought. What I would love is to get one of those like 1945 floor radios, like, 5 feet tall, but of course, not vintage, because you'd want it to play CDs, you'd want it to be able to stream your favorite podcast. But wouldn't that be wonderful to create this wonderful listening room where you could listen to music with your friends, you could share a podcast, maybe play a little bit of music, record, but just have a room where you use your ears and not your eyes. And that to me is so innovative and so relaxing. And so that's what I want to try to do. I want to try to create a listening room for my friends, for my family. And I know it's going to be hard to get them away from their phones and their laptops, but I think I can do it. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about having a 1940s type listening room in your house? I think it'd be an amazing challenge. Yeah.
I spend so much of my time out here in my little sunroom. I can just see this someday as my little listening room, seating for maybe 6 or 7, and an old vintage floor radio. Well, maybe not so vintage, but it would look vintage. I think I would just love it.
Even though I haven't moved out of Michigan, it feels sometimes like I have. The little city that I'm in up here now is so different than Grand Rapids. And the other night I was taking a walk, and I took you with me. And I came across this little house, and it had a white picket fence and lots of military things. And I looked at the steps, and this woman had what I think is a tribute to either her brother or her husband, but it was a beautiful picture of a soldier, and it was by a statue of someone giving a military salute, and I couldn't help but cry. And I wondered about this woman. I wondered who that soldier was and how much she must have loved him to make a shrine. When I got home, I called my friend who lives in Grand Rapids, And I was telling him about all the different gardens and how they're not sophisticated, but they're so beautiful. And I told him about this shrine. And he said, wouldn't you think somebody in her family would tell her to move on? And I thought to myself, who would be the one to tell her to take down the shrine? Maybe of the husband that she loved so much. And I asked my friend, do you want to come up? Do you want to knock on her door and tell her to move on? Would that make you happy? And he just laughed and he said, oh, honey, I didn't mean to offend you. And I said, oh, no, you didn't offend me. It's just that I've been doing a lot of thinking about grief and moving on. And how people give you a certain amount of time to be sad. And then they're done. They've moved on, so they want you to move on their timetable. So when I saw that beautiful picture of that soldier on those steps, I thought, maybe this woman, maybe she has moved on. Maybe somehow, in showing such love and respect for a husband that has passed a long, long time ago, perhaps that is her way of moving on. It's not for me to judge, but it does seem to me that not even death can stop all that love. And that we grieve in our own way, in our own time. And nobody has the right to stop at your home and knock on your door and tell you it's time to move on. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I loved every second of it, and I so hope you liked the video. If you get a chance down below, could you share maybe one of your very, very favorite trends that you've incorporated in your home? Please have yourself a happy, safe, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, you come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here.
I just love this, but with my grass coming in, the yard looks so much bigger. Look at that stray dog. That stray dog is just torturing Desi. Desi, get away. They'll pee on you.